So I am currently in Normandy at Omaha Beach, and in the last video went to Resistance Nest 60, which anchored down the far eastern end of Omaha Beach. Now I'm currently standing in front of Widerstand Nest 61, but unfortunately, not to be critical, if it's somebody's private property they can do what they want, but Widerstand Nest 61 is right behind this trailer. Okay, so I've moved around to a little bit better angle, and here's a better look at Widerstand Nest 61. Okay, so 60 is right up here. That's where we were on the last video. And this one is a little bit closer to the beach. Now, this particular casemate housed one of two 88mm guns on D-Day. And the whole idea with these bunkers and with these resistance nests was to provide overlapping fields of fire so that the whole beach would be covered. So right in there, you would have had the gun from an 88mm that was covering the entire length of the beach. Now, this particular one, there's some other Tobruks machine gun nests and everything with this particular Widerstand nest, but it was designed to provide overlapping fire with the resistance nest called Widerstand Nest 62, which in recent years has become the subject of quite a bit of controversy. So we're going to go take a look at that now. So I'm here on the approach to Widerstand Nest 62, and right here at the very top, appropriately, they have a memorial to the 1st Infantry Division. So right out here in front, kind of looking at close to the dividing line between Fox Green and the Easy Red sectors of Omaha Beach. Man, oh man, it's pretty sobering. Up here they have on the 1st Infantry Division monument the names of those killed in action here. Pretty sobering. Okay, now just like at Widerstand Nest 60, you can still see the remains of these German trenches that made up Widerstand Nest 62. Just kind of making our way down the hill here. Now, this would have had different machine gun nests and Tobruks with mortars. Whenever we get down here, we'll see a little bit better look at some of the bunkers. So here is a monument to the 5th Engineer Special Brigade, and again it names the men from this brigade that were killed on D-Day. And up at the top it says, "In memoriam to our 80 brave comrades in arms of the 299th Combat Engineers who who gave their lives on the beaches of France and on the continent of Europe in World War II, lest we forget. Wow. Okay, now one thing interesting about the monument that I just showed is it actually rests on top of this German casemate. So go down here and take a look. This, about to fall, is a casemate that would have held a 76.5 millimeter gun, and there were two of these up here on Widerstand Nest 62 on D-Day. So the gun is gone now, but of course it would have been right here. I've heard people ask before, why is this not facing out to the beach? Well, if you look, this wall right here explains it. These different concrete bunkers were designed to provide interlocking fields of fire. So they were providing flanking fire for the beach. If their front was open to the ocean, well, that would make it very susceptible to naval gunfire. So Widerstand Nest 61 is about 300 yards to the east of us. There's going to be several that are on down the beach. And what they're designed to do is provide interlocking fields of fire to cover every inch of the beach while at the same time protecting their guns. Now, if you look up here at the top of this casemate, you can see where it took some hits from some naval gunfire and then was put out of action. Let me go ahead and jump down in here. So like I said, this is where the 76.5 millimeter gun would have been held. You can still see like where the traversing mechanism would have been down here. And then if we go back here, if I can make my way through all of this water and mud, well, back here you'd have one room for ammunition and then another room for powder. And then if we go back out here, there's some vegetation now, but you can get an idea of the view of the beach that they would have had from this position. Pretty crazy. Now, on D-Day, there was a German soldier here by the name of Heinrich Severloh, and that's where the controversy with this spot comes in. Later in life, Severloh wrote a book called WN62, and in it, he talks about how he was a machine gunner right here in this very spot. Now, while he doesn't say anything in the book itself, in a later interview, he claims that he inflicted 1,000 and maybe as much as 2,000 casualties right here on Omaha Beach on D-Day. That has caused quite a bit of controversy as to whether it's true or not, and regardless, it earned him the nickname the Beast of Omaha. Well, right in here in this area, whether the story is true or not, this is where Heinrich Severloh manned his MG42 on D-Day. So this is approximately the view that Heinrich Severloh would have had on D-Day. So you can imagine, just looking at this field of fire, how devastating it must have been for those men of the 1st Infantry Division coming on shore right here against these entrenched defenses. So here's where the controversy comes in with Heinrich Severloh. If he indeed inflicted 1,000 to 2,000 casualties by himself on D-Day, that means that he was responsible for over half of the casualties that were inflicted. One man. So to me, there's only three possibilities. One, he's telling the truth, and he did inflict that many casualties on D-Day. That seems pretty far out there. I reached out to author Alex Kershaw, and he kind of agreed that number seems way too high. The second possibility is that in his later years he was just outright lying. And the third possibility is that was a pretty crazy day, and maybe from his point of view it felt like he inflicted that many casualties. The third option is the one that seems most plausible to me. In his book, Severloh himself even admits that whenever a machine gun burst would go out, soldiers would instinctively drop. So to him, maybe it looked like he had actually hit him when in fact he didn't. Kershaw says that the number is probably more like 200, which is still a lot. But regardless, it all happened right here. So that is the story of Heinrich Severloh. How many casualties did he actually inflict? It's hard to say. What we can say is that in this position, on that day, it was probably a lot. But that's just one of the many tragic stories to come off of these beaches from that day. We're going to be moving on down the beach, and there's so much here to see, so much to say, that it's impossible to put it all in just a few videos, but we're going to try and capture a little bit of it.